All right. So, we're going to start with a couple questions y'all asked, and then we're just going to continue working. Y'all, we have 11 more class periods. That's it. That's it. 11 classes left for this semester. 11. I did put out here that Wednesday of next Wednesday, doesn't affect this class, but next Wednesday is Success Day. So there are no day and no night classes. The hub is only open from 5:30 to 8:30 that day. Also, last day to withdraw is this coming Tuesday. So Tuesday is the last day to withdraw. Wednesday is the no classes.
Why would we withdraw?
If you still in module 1, you probably not gonna pass. Just say. Before I recommend anybody to withdraw, I always say go talk to financial aid, because sometimes financial aid will say stay in the class. You may have to owe money back if you don't stay in the class, and some will say go ahead and withdraw. You just don't want to withdraw before you talk to financial aid, because I've had some people who say I withdrew a day early and I had to pay back $700 or something. So I always say talk to a financial aid before you even think about withdrawing. And I would even talk to the teacher. I mean, if it's another class and you have, a 15 average, then there may be no need to talk to the teacher. But if you're making like a 60 or something, you may want to talk to the teacher and say, is there hope or not? In here, if you're still in the 20s and 30% and you're not prepared to kick it into gear, you're probably not going to pass. Okay? November 1st, there is a job fair. So if you're looking for a job, and it's not just for people who have graduated, it's for anybody. They'll have everybody from Huddle House all the way up to GE and Honda. They'll have everything there. Now, there will be some people there that are specifically looking for nurses, or they're specifically looking at mechanics, but there's a lot of jobs that are open up to everybody. So that's November 1st from 10:30 to 2:30. Or 10:30 to 2, sorry, and it's at SIMT. Is there anybody in here who doesn't know where SIMT is? Does everybody know where it's on this campus? At the end of the road, that big nice building? Yeah, it's nice. Alright, so those are the things I wanted to talk about. Now, let's talk about the area of a piecewise function. That was the first question that I had, and let me pull up and get a couple of problems. When you look at these, you can do them as addition or as subtraction. It's just according to what kind of mood you're in and what you see. So let me find area of a piecewise rectangular figure. And we're going to do a couple of these because every single one of these is different. So I'm going to send that one. Let me get another one. And let me send, oh, that's about the same. Let me send another one. All right. And let me get one more. Looks like an L right there. Okay, these are the 3 types of piecewise area rectangular problems that you're going to have. My brain tends to see them as subtraction problems. Your brain may see them as addition problems. Does not matter to me. We're going to get the same answer. Move equations to the next page. All right, so we want to know the area of this. So we want to know the inside, which means we have to use formulas, which means we have to know what the shapes are. And of course, I don't see any blank paper that I can cut. All right, so in this problem, can you visualize that I had a whole sheet of paper and I cut out this piece? Do y'all see that? I have a whole sheet of paper and I cut out, hold on, let me go steal a piece of paper. I have a whole sheet of paper and I cut out a piece. So what I have is like a sticky note. This yellow is a sticky note. So if I find the area of the sticky note, what is the length, because it's a rectangle, what is the length and the width of that sticky note?
13 and 8.
Okay, so because that's a rectangle, I do length times width, which is 13 times 8. Because 13 is all of that and 8 is all of that. I don't use the 5 because that's not all the way across. So in my calculator, I do 13 times 8. And that's going to give me the area of, so 104 represents the whole rectangle. Okay? So if I just wanted to know the whole rectangle, that's going to be 104. But to get the shape that I have up there, I have to take my rectangle and subtract a piece. So this is the piece that I'm subtracting. So I need to know that this is a rectangle, and I need to know that because this is a rectangle, I can do length times width of that. So the length and the width of the baby blue rectangle is what? 3 by 5. Because if you trace your pencil, you're touching the 3 and you're touching the 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. So if the whole yellow paper is 104 and this is 15, we're going to do 104 minus 15 because we're taking it away. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 104 minus the 15. There's my answer. Now, let me show you how to do it if you want to add. You would take this same shape, and if you add, then you're going to see a house, a chimney, and another chimney. So if you're adding, do you see that I have a house plus a chimney plus a chimney? So if I started off with this, I can tear off these two, because as it sits, that's not a shape that I know. So the house is a rectangle, the chimney's a rectangle, the other chimney's a rectangle, and I'm adding them together because I'm gluing it. Okay? So if we do it that way, just to show you, we'll get the same answers. Let's start with, so we're doing a plus and a plus. So let's start here. What's the length and the width of that piece?
4 and 5.
5 and 5. Because 8 is from here to here. Y'all with me? 8 represents the house and the chimney added together. So 8 is this whole side. We're only doing this piece right here. Do you see that piece is 5 tall and 5 wide? Because 8 is the whole house plus the chimney. So now come over here. What's the dimensions of the green one? The dimensions of the green one are going to be 5 times 5, because you have 5 here and 5 here, because we've already discussed that 8 is all the way. So we have a 25 and we have a 25. So now all we have left to do is the length and the width of the house. So the house is the yellow part. What is the length of the house? What's the length and width of the house? How long is the house?
30 and 13.
Okay, 3 is just this piece.
13.
So 3 is just right here.
Oh,
13.
13 is how long the house is. How wide or how tall is the house?
4. No, 38.
So do we see that the house and the chimney add up to what? 8. What is just the chimney? 5.
So it'll be 3.
So that would be 3. So if the whole thing is 5, that means this piece piece right here is 5, which means this piece right here has to be 3, because 3 plus 5 gives me the 8. So my house is only 3 wide, because this is 5 wide, and I cut it right there. So 13 times 3 is 39. So I'm going to do 39 plus 25 plus 25, and I'll still get my 89.
See, that would confuse, I'm thinking you have to like half the 8 with
That would seem a lot easier.
Right. So some people like to cut them up and glue them back together, which is adding. And some people like to close it in and subtract out. Doesn't matter to me. Sometimes one way is easier on one problem and then sucks on the next problem. Let's try another one. I'm going to do it both ways. We can either make a clone. So if you looked at this problem, are you going to cut it up and add it back together, or are you going to fill it in and take away pieces?
I'm gonna fill it in, take away pieces.
Okay, so Devon wants to come here.
Devin.
Dash,
There you go.
dash.
Across the side.
I have a Devon on Tuesday, Thursday too. Okay, I fill it in. So do we now see our big sheet of paper?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to know the length and the width of the big sheet of paper. And do you see now that I'm tearing away 2 corners? Here's my big sheet of paper. I'm going to tear away this corner, and I'm going to tear away this corner. So I'm going to find the area of the whole thing, minus a corner, and I'm going to end up with this. So let's start with the corners. What are the dimensions of this? What's the length and width of that?
5 times 3.
5 times
5.
5. What's the dimensions of this?
5 times 5.
5 times 5, because it's 5 this way and 5 this way, which is 25. So now I need to know the dimensions of the whole thing. So I need to know the entire length and the entire width. Now, do you agree this is the entire height?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. that's
Okay,
fine.
but 3 is not that whole distance. So if that's 3, what did we say this piece was?
5.
5. So if we add those together, the entire distance is going to be 8.
8 times 5.
8
What's
times
this number? Because that's the entire length.
15.
It's 5 from there, 5 from there, and 5 from there. Bring that 5 up, and that 5 up, so that side is 15. So we'll do 8 times 8 times 15, that gives me the whole piece of paper, minus the 25, which is a corner, minus another 25, which is the other corner. So my answer to this one is going to be 70. That's if we cut pieces off. Now, if you wanted to do this plus, because I have some people say, I can only see it one way, I can't see it the other way. So if you want to see it as this plus this, okay? What are the dimensions of the green? 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5. What's the dimensions of the red? How tall is the red only? 3. How long is the red? 15, because we still have the 5 from here, the 5 from here, and the 5 from here, which makes the total of 15. So 15 times 3 is 45. So because you're adding these together, you would do 45 plus 25, and you're still going to get your 70. All right, let's try one more. This one. If I fill it in, here's my entire sheet of paper. What's the dimensions of the entire sheet of paper? How tall and how wide is the entire sheet of paper? 7?
18.
Where in the hell are you getting 10 from?
7 and 8. 7 and 8.
Oh, 6.
Thank you. I'm like, what?
I was trying to draw it and I just looked up.
You got 7 this way, you got 6 that way, so the whole thing is 42. Now, we cutting this piece off. So what are the dimensions for the piece that we're cutting off? 4 by 2. So we're cutting off a 4 by 2, which is an 8. And the reason we're subtracting is because we have a rectangle and we're cutting off a corner.
Oh, so at the end you gotta do different stuff to them to get the answer.
Correct.
Oh, that's probably why I missed a line. I subtract all of it.
No. No.
I did.
The way that I did it was a subtraction, 42 minus 8. But if it's according to how you break it up. If you would have broken it up into this and this, that would be an addition
But I
problem.
do all of my problems how you just did that.
Then those are all going to be subtraction. When you fill it in and take away, those are all subtraction.
Oh,
This one will be an addition. Are we feeling better about those? Now,
I'm
yeah,
lost.
I wish I could take that card. This is not a check over.
I know. What did I lose you?
Okay,
I kept getting a lot of them too.
how she got basic wrong every time she did it wrong? You gotta rewind it one more time.
Okay, she said, I always subtract.
Mm-hmm.
And first I said, ooh, it's going to depend on how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But she always fills in, to make a whole sheet of paper. And she does the whole sheet of paper minus, so hers is always going to be subtraction.
Okay.
So if you always fill it in and tear it away, that's always going to be subtraction.
Is it always gonna be right?
If she knows what she's doing. Now, if I take this piece and I do it as not a fill-in, but as if I take this piece and decide to cut it there, I have a rectangle and then a little baby rectangle. I would do this rectangle plus that rectangle. And some people, I don't see that. I only see fill me in and take me away. That's how I see it when I look at it.
You teach that means it's right.
No. Some people see different things.
I mean, but man, I'm trying to see it the right
I'm
way.
trying to see how they added this thing.
Because, okay, look at, when you look at this, you automatically see subtraction.
How to add.
When you look at this, you fill it in, you find the area of this, and you tear that away, correct?
Yeah.
That's your way, which is going to work every single time. But what they're doing is they're saying, I don't want to bring in any extra. I don't want to fill it in. So what they're looking at is they're saying, I have this piece right here. And then I have this piece right there. So I'm going to take the yellow piece and add the blue piece to it.
What about the other piece that's open?
They don't do that way. They say this, oops, wrong. They say, what is the length and width of this?
7 and 6.
No, 6 goes all the way down.
Oh,
So what is
6.
just this?
4?
4. Because this is 2. So that one has, oh, you're looking at the wrong number. That one has to be 4. So the area of this is 7 times 4, which is 28. What's the area of this bad boy right here?
2 and
2
3?
and 3. So do you see, I did not take a 28 and subtract anything. I took a 28 and added a 6 to it.
Is it still right?
Same answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the other way.
Some people like one and some people like the other.
No, they won't like it still that way. Huh?
All right, I had a question for equations. First thing, when you start the equations, you've got to remember how to do the distributive property. Let's just start with this. So when you're doing equations, you've got to know how to distribute. This is module 4. You're going to distribute is like handing out drugs. You're going to hand out drugs to everybody in the room. Now, if I own one umbrella, I don't walk around and call it a 1. So there's an understood 1 there. So I'm going to do 2 times U, and then I'm going to do 2 times 3. So do you see that gives me 2U plus 6? 2 times 1U, because remember there's that green 1 right there. So 2 times 1U is 2U. 2 times 3 is going to give me a 6.
So the little dot right there tell me I got a times, right?
Uh-huh.
Wait.
And if there's nothing there, like if you have a number next to a parentheses, that means they're married, they're multiplication. So when you have a number that's slammed up next to a letter or slammed up next to a parentheses, they better be married.
They're together.
They together. So for this one, when I distribute, you have to realize that you are doing, for the green problem, you are doing -4 times 2U. Because that negative is riding dirty with that 4. That's not only a -4, that's a subtract 4. So when I do the blue problem, what do you think I'm doing for the blue problem?
The same thing.
So it would be -4 times
3, -3.
-3. -4 times -3. Where here it was a +2 times a +3. So when I go to my calculator to do the green problem, it is -4 times 2. And then my other one is -4 times -3. So my green problem gives me a -8. So I write down -8U. My blue problem gives me a positive answer, so I write +12. Now, I'm not done. All I did was hand out the drugs. I handed out those, I distributed. I got rid of my parentheses, but now I'm not done. I need to put all the U's together and all, so do you see this is a married couple? And this is a married couple. Those two can go together because they're both married to a U.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be 2U minus 8U. So in my calculator, it's going to be 2 subtract 8. That's going to give me -6U. And then when I go to do my single ladies, this is a single lady, and this is a single lady. So that problem is a +6 plus 12, which is a +18.
And that's the answer.
That's the answer for this problem.
Oh,
Still
God.
done, though, right?
But we're not done because, I mean, had they told us what U was, we would have been done. Okay? Then they're going to go into, what if I gave you 3x minus 6 equals 22? No,
This thing is mind blowing.
24.
Bring it
All right, so if I look at this one,
here.
let's clean up the front. What does that give me? 3 times 1x, which is 3x. What does this give me?
3 times 6.
3 times who?
6.
-6. So when I go to my calculator and I do 3 times -6, I get -18. So I'm going to write down -18. Because that was a negative, that's why that's a minus. And that's going to equal 24. Now, do you agree on this side of town, I got a married couple and a single lady.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is your line, and you got another single lady. My goal is to get X by itself. So in order to get X alone, this is Gucci. Remember? We got Keisha here, and we got a little huzzy over here. So if Gucci wants to get a loan, who is he gonna get rid of first?
The 18.
Why? Because we don't want witnesses at divorce court. We got to get rid of the single ladies.
But you want a job? I got an idea.
You don't give her a job.
Nah, I said, you want a job. I have an idea.
Minus 18 and positive 18 go away, so you're getting rid of the single lady. So you have 3x equals 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Carry my 1, 2 plus 1 plus, that's 42. So now I'm down to the married couple. We know they're married because they're up close and there's nothing between them. So married is multiplication. What's the opposite of being married to a 3?
Divide.
So we are going to divide both sides by 3. So my answer is going to be 42 divided by 3, and in my calculator, 42 divided by 3 is 14.
Which is X.
That is your X.
Right. It's another thing.
Is that helping any other? All right.
So is there like a order of operation or something, any of them?
Right, you always are gonna clean up the front and clean up the back. Then you're gonna move all the single ladies to the front by doing the opposite. Then you're gonna split up all the couples.
Now how about division, multiplication, subtraction, addition?
Okay, so what if I gave you x over 2 plus 4 equals 10? Do you still kind of see a married couple and a single person?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get rid of the single person. So what do I need to do to both sides to get rid of the single person?
That's where I get confused, I don't know.
Anytime, this is like the county line. If you stay within your neighborhood, you do what you say you're gonna do. If you live in this hood, you do what you say you're gonna do.
So we need to
When
subtract.
you
about-
cross-
Subtract 4?
When you cross that line, you're gonna do the opposite.
Okay.
If you go into somebody else's neighborhood, you're gonna act the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 4 because I'm crossing that line. So that gives me x over 2 equals 6. Now, I'm trying to get x by itself, so I need to move the 2. I need to move the 2 to the other side of town. So I've got to do the opposite of dividing by 2.
So multiply.
I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So my answer is going to be 12. Yay? Now, y'all, we have 11 days left. Some of us need to think about how many, we've been in school since August, and think about what percentage you're at. You have 11 days to get it up to where you need it to be to pass this class. Juicy is where we need to be.
What do we have to have to pass this class?
In Math 033, if you have an A average, a B average, or a C average in this class alone, you will get an SC on your report card, which means successful completion. So if you pass with a 99 average and somebody besides you pass with an 80 average, y'all are going to get the same final grade. So an 80 in this class is an 80. And a C in this class is an 80. So you are going to pray to the math gods for an 80 or higher.
On percent?
So if we go to,
So a C ain't a 70.
not in this class is on the high school grading scale.
Oh.
This class, and every class will depend. So like if I go to, let me go in and let's look at like what I don't think mine will, but you know when you go into your grade book
Mm-hmm.
and I tell you like today, I told most of you, up at the top is your pie progress. And down at the bottom is your scheduled assessment. Your pie progress is your homework. So I told you today, what your homework was. I said, coming into the test today, y'all made a blah, 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 and today on the test, y'all have a blah, blah, blah. Y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you had a 74 on your homework coming into today, and you made a 66 on today's test.
Mm-hmm.
Your homework counts 25%. Your test counts 75%. So if you want to know your average at this second, you take the number that's in your